Hello my lovelies, and today I want to talk about having the motherhood that you decide and what it takes. How do you get to that place of knowing what that even is? What does your ideal motherhood even look like? Well, I've got a couple of questions that I want you to consider today that's going to get you thinking, that's going to allow you to just dig a bit deeper into finding out what it is that you really want. Because what happens is, so often we know what it is that we don't want and we focus on that, and that is a really great starting point. Don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because as soon as you know what it is that you don't want, it is much easier to start discovering what it is that you do want. Sometimes it might be you want the complete opposite thing, but it might just be something that helps influence you to determine what it is that you really do want. So one of the things that I want you to think about when you sit down, and I want you to do this when you're in a space where you're not being interrupted, or just throw these questions out and go about your day and wait for the answers to reveal themselves. They'll come to you when you're in that place of alignment, when you're having fun with your kids, when you're being in that state of flow. They will just come, and all of a sudden you'll be like, yes, that's it. That's something that really excites me. That's something that I can really get behind. So I want you to think about these questions when it comes to thinking about what your ideal motherhood looks like. Okay, so the first one is, if I had no financial boundaries, if I had, or if you had no barriers, you had no financial concerns. Imagine you had all the money in the world. It doesn't matter whether you have this or not. What would your motherhood look like if you had no financial barriers? And what you're trying to do is you're trying to unlock, you're trying to tap into what the desire is that you truly want, and not the desire or not the thing you think that you can have. There's a big difference between what it is that your soul truly wants and what it is that you believe you're able to obtain. And what happens so often is we go for the thing that we believe that we are able to obtain, the thing that we think we can get, or the thing that we should have, rather than the thing that we really truly want. So that's the first one. If you had no money issues, no financial barriers, what would motherhood look like? The next one to ask is, if you had all the time in the world, so if you had no time limitations, if time running out wasn't a thing, so this kind of is like in two parts. So if you had no time running out, as in time isn't running out with your kids getting older, you're getting older, there's no limitations on that side of things. Time is not running out. Time is limitless. If you weren't feeling like you were busy, exhausted, and you had all the time in the world to do whatever it is you wanted to do, what would motherhood look like? Time is another big place, especially for mothers, where we believe we have a lot of boundaries. We believe that we've got a lot of barriers that stop us from achieving what we want, especially when it comes to doing things for ourselves. Time is the big thing that comes up more so, I find, when talking to other mothers. Time is more of an issue than money for a lot of women. It's, I don't have time when the kids are around. I don't have time to do these things for me. I don't have time to include myself in my own motherhood journey because time does not allow it. So if time wasn't an issue, what would motherhood look like to you? And then the next one I want you to ask, this is quite an interesting one. I want you to ask yourself, if you could be anywhere in the world and be a mother and have your motherhood journey, where would you be? Now this is an interesting one, because it might be that you're quite happy where you are right now, but there's also another limitation we place around our geography and having children. We believe that going to different places, even places that are 20 miles from us. You know, it doesn't have to be the other side of the world, but we have this thing around feeling this call to be very central to home, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you enjoy being at home and home is your space and you really thrive there, then home is where you're meant to be, where you want to be. But for anyone who is wanting to venture out, wanting to do different things and incorporate that bit of added adventure, that bit of exploring into their motherhood journey, for a lot of us, we believe that we can't take our children on that journey with us. So if you could be anywhere in the world, if you could visit any place that you wanted to as a mother, what would motherhood look like to you? And then the next thing to ask is, if you didn't have to choose between a thriving, deeply connected, intimate, passionate relationship with your partner, with your husband, what would motherhood look like? If you didn't have to choose between that and being this available, present, deeply connected mother with her children, what would motherhood look like? I have fallen into this trap myself, thinking that I could only have one or the other, that I could only have this really deep bond and connection with my children, and it wasn't possible to have that and the same thing with my husband. It wasn't, those two things did not exist in the same reality. But that's complete rubbish. It was my mind, it was my beliefs, thinking that that was the only thing that was possible for me. So if you didn't have to choose between those two, if you could have both and they existed in the same reality, what would motherhood look like for you? And the last one that I want you to think about is, if you didn't have to choose between a thriving, exciting, expansive career, business, deep diving into a hobby, something that you thoroughly enjoy, and having time to spend with your kids and being present and available for them, what would motherhood look like? Again, this is another one where we feel that we have to choose between having the career, having the business, or even just following a passion, following a hobby, diving deep into something that we really want to explore personally for ourselves, and spending time with our children. It's something we feel we have to sacrifice one or the other for. But again, this is just a limitation that we have placed in our own minds. You can absolutely have both in your motherhood journey if that is what you want. So if you didn't have to choose between those two, what would your motherhood look like? So those are your questions that I want you to just sink into your mind. If you're in a quiet space and you've got time to be able to sit and reflect, then go through those questions and see what comes up for you. Remove all of the limitations, all of the barriers, because that is what is going to give you your true soul aligned answer as to what motherhood right now is the motherhood that you want, the motherhood that you want to experience. And if you don't have time to sit down and really delve into that, just put those questions in your mind, because once you ask a question, there has to always be an answer to it. So put them out there and allow the answers, allow the breadcrumbs to drop in when you're in a place where you can receive it. You won't receive those answers when you're not on the right frequency to receive it anyway. So just go about your day as normal. And when you're in those moments where you're loving life, you're enjoying your kids, whatever it is that you're doing, those thoughts will start to come through. So let's just run through them again quickly, because I've got to go and pick my daughter up now. I've got that little one asleep in the back. So the first one is, if you've got no money limitations, what would motherhood look like? If you've got no time limitations, what would motherhood look like? If you've got no location issues, if you could be anywhere in the world, what would motherhood look like? If you don't have to choose between the relationship you want with your partner and time with your children and a connected relationship with them, what would motherhood look like? And if you don't have to choose between having a career, a business, or something that's just personal for you and spending time with your kids, what would motherhood look like? Let me know in the comments how you get on, what comes up for you, what barriers you're hitting, when these questions pop into your mind, and let me know, have you been able to dig deep and discover what motherhood you really, really want? And also, if you want more of this, if you want more empowerment, if you want more prompts, more support on your motherhood journey towards creating the motherhood that you truly want, then make sure you check out the description box, because in there you will find a link to sign up to my newsletter. And I have got a free gift that is going to be coming soon, something that you can download that can help you even more to get really deep and juicy with what your motherhood journey should look like and what it is you want and how to get there. So look out for that. Make sure you sign up to my email list, because I will let you know as soon as that drops. And have a beautiful day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.